The ghost vessel was beyond repair, until a human mechanic refused to give up. Its hull was scarred, dented, and riddled with holes. Broken antennas dangled like dead limbs, and the ship tilted slightly, listing to one side as if it were a wounded giant. The alien crew aboard the survey ship Zareth hovered at a cautious distance. "It is old," said Kale, a tall, thin alien with translucent skin that shimmered under the light of nearby stars. "Too old. Beyond repair. There is nothing of value left." "Maybe," replied Tyrell, shorter and stout, his armored shell clanking softly as he adjusted the ship's scanning instruments. "The energy readings are unstable. We cannot risk approaching it. It is a relic, a ghost. And that's how the ship earned its name, the ghost vessel." Yet humans, as always, saw things differently. Alex Ryden, human mechanic and engineer, leaned over the control console with a spark in his amber eyes. Unlike the aliens, he felt curiosity rather than fear. "Ghost vessel," he muttered. "It's just a ship that needs the right hands." Kale looked at him with disbelief. "You would board that. It is dangerous, unstable." Alex smiled. "Danger is my job. If it was easy, anyone could do it." The aliens grumbled, exchanging worried looks, but Alex had already suited up. His space suit, patched and customized in several places, hugged him like a second skin. He carried his tool kit, not just a collection of wrenches and plasma cutters, but also a set of gadgets of his own design, tools made to fix the impossible. The docking clamps of the Zareth latched onto the ghost vessel with a hesitant creak. Alex floated across the narrow corridor, his boots sticking briefly to the magnetic floor. Every step inside the derelict felt like walking into a museum of human history. Broken screens flickered weakly, cables hung in tangled messes, and the air smelled faintly of old metal and burnt circuits. He paused at the entrance to the bridge. Dust coated every surface. The main console was cracked, buttons missing, and wires hung like vines from the ceiling. Yet Alex's trained eye saw patterns where the aliens only saw chaos. "Interesting," he murmured. "What do you see?" asked Tyrell, voice tight. "Potential," Alex said simply. "This ship isn't dead, it just needs someone who understands it," Kale snorted. "Understanding it is a relic. Nothing here works. Not the engines, not the life support, not the AI core. Even the humans who made it abandoned it." "Maybe they didn't know everything it could do," Alex said. He crouched near the engine room access hatch and examined the systems. Sparks occasionally shot out from exposed panels, and a low hum resonated through the hull, like a heartbeat struggling to keep going. Alex's fingers danced over the controls, reading the status logs. Decades-old error messages scrolled past: engine overload, AI malfunction, power core instability. Most humans would have given up at the first glance, but Alex wasn't most humans. "I can fix it," he said firmly. The aliens bristled. "You cannot, it is impossible. Human pride will not save you," Alex shrugged. "We'll see." He descended to the engine room, his flashlight cutting through the darkness. Broken pipes and scorched conduits twisted like a mechanical jungle. The main energy core, a massive cylindrical device, was cracked on one side. He could feel the faint thrum of residual energy, weak and erratic. "This is bad," Kale's voice echoed through the comm. "You should retreat." Alex ignored him. He pulled out a small diagnostic drone from his pack and released it into the engine chamber. The drone buzzed and clicked, scanning each system, mapping every damaged circuit and broken conduit. Within moments, it displayed a holographic readout. Alex studied it carefully. Unusual," he murmured. "The energy fluctuations are complex but not random. Someone designed this deliberately. Whoever built this ship expected it to survive harsh conditions." Tyrell's voice was incredulous. "Even if you understand it, you cannot repair it. It is too damaged." Alex crouched near the core and touched the cracked casing with gloved hands. "Maybe," he said softly, "but if no one tries, it will stay dead forever." He started working. First, he stabilized the residual energy using a temporary flux stabilizer he had invented himself. Sparks flew and lights flickered, but the core's weak hum became steadier. He repaired wiring by splicing in old circuits from the ship itself, using clever shortcuts that required instinct more than strict protocol. The aliens watched in silence. Kale's disbelief grew, and even Tyrell seemed to hesitate. This was unlike anything their systematic training could achieve. Humans had a way of improvising that the aliens couldn't comprehend. Hours passed. The engine room smelled of ozone and scorched metal, and Alex's hands were black with grime. Yet he pressed on. Every challenge he faced, broken conduits, fried sensors, a partially melted AI core, was met with determination, patience, and ingenuity. At one point, a panel exploded with a loud bang, throwing Alex to the floor. He coughed and shook his head, then muttered, "Not bad. Could have been worse." Already he was back on his feet, examining the damage, figuring out a workaround. The alien crew remained at the docking bay, anxiety written across their faces. "He is human," Kale said finally. "Perhaps humans are unpredictable." "Unpredictable?" Tyrell asked. "They are reckless," Kale shrugged. "Perhaps, but in this recklessness they accomplish things logic cannot." As night cycles passed aboard the Zareth, Alex continued his work. He repaired broken hydraulic systems, rerouted damaged power lines, and even managed to restart some secondary engines. Slowly, the ship began to stir. Lights flickered on in sequence, and faint sounds of mechanical movement echoed through the halls. It was as if the ship were awakening from a long slumber. Alex paused, wiping sweat from his brow. He stared at the main console, now humming with renewed energy. "Not bad for a ghost," he said with a small smile. A faint voice crackled from the ship's AI core. The alien crew froze. "System initializing," it said weakly but distinctly. Kale's eyes widened. It is speaking," Alex chuckled. "Told you." The AI's voice struggled, old and hesitant. "Human recognized, authorized, repair in progress." "See," Alex said, grinning. "She's just waking up. Give her a little patience and some elbow grease and she'll sing again." Tyrell's jaw dropped. "Impossible. That AI should have been dead decades ago." "Humans sometimes succeed where the impossible meets the improbable," Alex said simply. For the first time, the aliens saw what humans often saw in themselves. Not just physical strength or advanced tech, but creativity, ingenuity, and stubborn determination that could breathe life into things long thought dead. By the end of the cycle, the AI core stabilized. Systems that had been dead for decades now flickered and hummed, responding to Alex's careful adjustments. Emergency lights glowed steadily, and the ship's life support systems powered up just enough to circulate clean air. Alex leaned against a console, exhausted but satisfied. "One step at a time," he murmured. Kale and Tyrell exchanged looks. "Perhaps," Kale said softly, "there is more to humans than we realize." Alex glanced at the alien crew with a tired smile. "There's always more," he said. "Now let's see if she can fly again." The ghost vessel was far from repaired, but under Alex's hands it was waking. The corridors no longer felt empty. They hummed with potential, as if the ship itself understood that someone had refused to give up. Somewhere deep inside, systems that had slept for decades responded, flickering to life in acknowledgement. And in the heart of space, a human mechanic smiled at the challenge. For the aliens observing, it was clear. Humans didn't just fix things. Humans could bring them back from the dead. And the ghost vessel was about to prove it. The hum of the ghost vessel filled the quiet of space. Every corridor, every panel, every flickering light seemed to pulse with a new energy. Alex Ryden walked down the ship's main hall, tool kit in hand, his eyes scanning every surface. He had worked tirelessly for cycles, stabilizing the core, repairing the secondary engines, and waking the ship's AI. Yet there was still much to do. The aliens had stopped criticizing him. At first, they hovered anxiously at the docking bay, whispering warnings about the dangers of a dying ship. But now, they watched in silence, curiosity slowly replacing skepticism. Even Kale, the tall alien who had called the ship beyond repair, had to admit that Alex's methods, chaotic, unorthodox, and instinctive, were producing results. Alex crouched by a damaged power junction, inspecting frayed wires. "See this," he said to Tyrell, who floated nervously nearby. "These are not just broken, they're designed for redundancy. Whoever made this ship expected problems and built solutions into it." Tyrell's three eyes widened. "Redundancy, but the circuits are fried." "How can you understand this?" Alex smiled. "Humans don't just follow instructions. We think, we adapt. Sometimes the solution isn't in the manual, it's in knowing how the pieces want to work together." He reached into his kit and pulled out a coil of copper wiring. Carefully, he began splicing it into the damaged junction, twisting wires in unconventional patterns, bypassing burnt circuits with improvised connections. Sparks flew. A faint hum grew louder. Lights along the corridor flickered in response, as if the ship itself were encouraging him. Kale murmured, "It listens to him." "Not listens," Alex said, not looking up. "It responds. The human touch is intuitive. You can't program that into logic." Hours passed and Alex moved from one system to another. Broken sensors, frozen hydraulics, offline comms, each received his attention and each responded. He didn't just repair, he optimized. Where the original designers had left a patchwork of systems to manage emergencies, Alex found ways to simplify, improve, and even anticipate problems. "You're improving it?" Tyrell asked in disbelief. Alex shrugged. "I'm not changing it. I'm letting it be what it was meant to be." Meanwhile, the aliens began to take notes. Kale tried following Alex's methods but quickly realized that rigidity was a disadvantage. The alien approach relied on precise measurements and predefined protocols, but Alex's creativity allowed him to improvise, to adapt on the fly, to see solutions where logic saw only failure. As night cycles passed aboard the ghost vessel, something extraordinary began to happen. The ship seemed alive. Lights flickered in sequence, almost like a heartbeat. The AI, once silent and sluggish, now communicated in fragments, offering suggestions, warnings, and occasional praise in its mechanical voice. "Human, repair efficient," the AI said. "System stabilizing," Alex grinned. "See, she likes my style." Tyrell tilted his head. "You speak to her like she is alive." Alex laughed. "She is alive, she just needs a human to understand her." Their attention turned to the ship's central AI chamber, a room filled with blinking panels, wires snaking across the floor, and a massive energy core at the center. Alex knelt by a console, tracing circuits with gloved fingers. "This is where she stores her memory," he explained. "Old missions, crew logs, designs, everything. If I can get this running fully, she'll remember herself. She'll remember humans." Kale and Tyrell exchanged glances. "Why do you care so much about a machine?" Kale asked. Alex paused, then looked at the alien with a gentle seriousness. "Because it's a part of us. Humans create machines to extend ourselves, to explore, to survive, to dream. When something like this is lost, it's like losing a piece of history, a piece of humanity. I can't just leave it broken." Over the next cycle, Alex focused on the AI. It was delicate work. He had to reroute circuits, replace corrupted memory modules, and rebuild connections that had decayed over decades. Every step required intuition, improvisation, and patience. The aliens watched, fascinated, as the human mechanics seemed to communicate with the ship in ways they could not understand. During one repair session, the ship reacted unexpectedly. Panels glowed in soft blues and greens, lights pulsed along the walls, and a low hum filled the corridors. Alex froze, then whispered, "She's responding to me. She trusts me." The AI's voice crackled through the chamber. "Human understanding authorized, repair ongoing, connection established." Tyrell leaned closer to Kale. It's almost as if she recognizes him. Recognizes him, Kale repeated slowly. Not just his presence, but his intent. Humans, he trailed off, unable to find the right words. As the days passed, the bond between Alex and the ship grew. He discovered hidden compartments filled with human designs, clever mechanical redundancies, and detailed logs of missions that no alien had ever read. These small signs of human ingenuity fascinated Alex. They were reminders that humans were explorers, thinkers, and problem solvers, not just pilots or engineers, but creators capable of bending the impossible into reality. One day, while repairing a damaged navigation module, Alex uncovered a set of old holographic logs. The images flickered to life, showing a human crew from centuries ago, laughing, working, planning missions to the far reaches of the galaxy. Alex watched silently, feeling a deep connection to those who had built the ship. They didn't give up, he murmured, just like me. The aliens, observing from the docking bay, felt something unfamiliar, admiration mixed with envy. They had logic, precision, and protocol. Humans had something more: creativity, adaptability, and a refusal to surrender to impossibility. Alex began teaching them in small ways how to think differently. He showed them that sometimes a problem could not be solved with rigid procedure. It required experimentation, imagination, and instinct. Kale tried to follow along, and although the alien struggled, he began to see the truth in Alex's words. "You are different," Kale admitted. "We calculate, we measure, you improvise, and it works," Alex chuckled. "Sometimes the best solution isn't in the manual. It's in understanding the spirit of the machine, the way it wants to function, not just how it was built." The ship seemed to sense this growing harmony. Secondary engines began to hum steadily. Sensors, once dead, flickered back to life. Communications arrays blinked, broadcasting weak but stable signals into deep space. The AI, now more coherent, spoke in full sentences. "Human, your methods are effective." Ship systems functioning at 73% capacity. Further repair recommended. Alex grinned. "Not bad. Let's aim for 100%. However, the biggest challenge was yet to come: the main engine. It had been damaged beyond anything Alex had encountered before. The energy core's flux patterns were erratic, unpredictable, and dangerous. The alien crew insisted he leave it alone. "You could destroy the entire ship," Kale warned. Alex shook his head. "Or I could fix it, but I'll need to take a risk." He spent hours analyzing the engine, mapping the flux patterns, and experimenting with small adjustments. Each test was precise, yet experimental. He had no manual for this, no prior experience that could guarantee success. Only intuition, experience, and patience guided him. The aliens watched tensely as sparks flew, circuits glowed, and the hum of the ship grew louder. Slowly, patterns emerged. The energy core began to stabilize, responding to Alex's careful modifications. "This is incredible," Tyrell whispered. He's doing what we cannot." Alex wiped sweat from his brow, his hands black with grime. "Sometimes all you need is to keep going, to refuse to give up. That's what humans do." Finally, after countless adjustments, the engine purred steadily. The main core's energy stabilized, flowing evenly through the ship systems. The ghost vessel was alive. The AI's voice resonated clearly throughout the corridors. "All systems operational at 85%. Human, your ingenuity remarkable," Alex smiled. "Thanks, we're not done yet." "But this is a start." Kale and Tyrell looked at him with newfound respect. "You are extraordinary," Kale said. "Perhaps humans are not just survivors. Perhaps they are creators in their own way." Alex laughed softly. "Creators, explorers, fixers, that's us. And this ship, she just needed someone to believe in her." As the stars outside twinkled, the ghost vessel hummed with renewed life. Corridors that had been silent for decades now vibrated with energy. Panels flickered in recognition of Alex's presence. Lights pulsed as if the ship itself were alive, acknowledging the mechanic who refused to give up. For the first time, the alien crew saw the essence of humanity. Not brute strength, not sheer numbers, but creativity, persistence, and an unyielding spirit that could breathe life into what was thought lost forever. And in the quiet hum of the ship, Alex whispered to himself, "One more step, old friend. Tomorrow we'll see if you can fly again." The ghost vessel was no longer a ghost. It was a testament to human ingenuity, a living symbol that even in the darkest corners of space, life, and possibility could be restored by hands that refused to surrender. The ghost vessel was alive. Every panel glowed, every engine hummed, and every corridor pulsed with renewed energy. The ship, once a silent relic drifting in forgotten space, now responded to Alex Ryden with a strange familiarity, as if it recognized its human mechanic. Alex stood on the bridge, tool kit set aside. He looked around at the alien crew, Kale and Tyrell, who hovered uncertainly behind him. "Ready to see what she can do?" he asked with a grin. Kale's translucent skin shimmered with doubt. "We warned you." "This ship could be unpredictable, dangerous," Alex shrugged. "Maybe, but she's stable now, and I've learned a few things about flying ghosts." The aliens watched as Alex approached the main control console. His fingers danced over the touch panels, issuing commands in a mixture of instinct and skill. The AI's voice filled the bridge, strong and confident for the first time. "Human, systems operational at 98%. Core stability achieved. Navigation systems online. Flight readiness nominal," Alex smiled. "Nominal is good enough." Tyrell tilted his head. "You speak to her as if she is alive." "She is," Alex said simply. "Machines remember, machines feel in their own way, and she trusts me." The aliens exchanged uneasy glances. They had never seen humans interact with technology this way. Machines responding to intuition rather than command codes. Systems recognizing the intent behind actions rather than just following instructions. "Engage engines," Alex commanded. The hum of the secondary engines deepened. The ship trembled slightly, as if stretching muscles that had lain dormant for decades. Lights pulsed along the hull, corridors flickered with soft blue light, and the AI's voice grew stronger. Power distribution optimized. Thrusters responsive, all systems stable. Kale and Tyrell floated closer to the bridge viewport, watching in awe as the stars outside shifted slightly under the ship's renewed energy. It's moving," Kale said softly. "Not just drifting, it's alive." Alex grinned. "Exactly." He initiated the pre-flight sequence. Panels glowed with activity, systems checked themselves, and the AI responded to each adjustment with precise timing. It was a symphony of mechanics and ingenuity, a collaboration between human creativity and machine design. The alien crew remained silent, mesmerized by the display. They had never witnessed this before. Their species relied on protocol, logic, and strict procedures. Humans relied on imagination, improvisation, and persistence. And here it was clear which method could overcome impossible odds. "Engaging main engines," Alex said, his hand steady. The massive energy core pulsed, stabilizing the ship's thrust output. The entire vessel shuddered slightly, then glided smoothly in orbit. The aliens gasped. "She moves gracefully," Tyrell said. "She's responding to him," Kale murmured. "Not just to commands, to his touch, his intuition." Alex floated to the side, observing the ship's systems on the displays. Energy levels were stable, shields were operational, and life support ran at peak efficiency. The ship was alive, whole, and ready. Then came the first real test, maneuvering through a nearby asteroid field to assess agility and responsiveness. Alex took a deep breath. "Hold on." The ghost vessel plunged forward, engines flaring as it navigated between massive floating rocks. The alien crew clung to the observation deck, eyes wide, jaws open. The ship twisted and turned with surprising agility. Every thruster adjustment was perfect, every system responding instantly. Tyrell whispered, "I did not believe it, but she moves better than we ever thought possible." Kale nodded slowly. "This human, he understands the ship in ways we cannot." Alex grinned as he guided the vessel through the field. "See, sometimes all it takes is a mind willing to try, even when everyone else gives up." The AI's voice echoed, confident and strong. Human, pilot input recognized. Maneuvers executed flawlessly. Core efficiency at 99%. After clearing the asteroid field, Alex brought the ship to a smooth stop in orbit around a small, uncharted planet. The ghost vessel gleamed in the light of nearby stars, hull intact, systems optimal. It had gone from a drifting ghost to a living, breathing ship capable of exploration and adventure. Kale and Tyrell approached him, awe evident in their expressions. "We were wrong," Kale admitted. "We believed it impossible." "But your persistence, your ingenuity, it changed everything." Alex chuckled softly. "Humans never give up. That's what sets us apart. Not strength, not speed, but the refusal to quit." Tyrell tilted his head thoughtfully. "You are extraordinary. Not just for fixing the ship, but for teaching us." Alex nodded. "Sometimes logic and rules are not enough. You need imagination, creativity, and the courage to try. That's what makes humans remarkable." The ship seemed to hum in agreement. Lights along the hull flickered in gentle rhythm, almost like a heartbeat. The AI's voice, now steady and confident, filled the corridors. Human systems fully operational, navigation optimized, energy distribution balanced, thrusters fully responsive. "Thank you." Alex smiled, patting a console affectionately. "No thanks needed, just doing my job," Kale observed quietly. "We have studied humans for centuries, but we never understood this. You do not just solve problems. You adapt, create, and persist. You turn the impossible into possible." Alex grinned. "Exactly. That's what humans do." The aliens stayed aboard for several cycles, helping with minor repairs and observing Alex's methods. Slowly, they began to adopt some of his techniques, not completely, but enough to understand the value of flexibility, intuition, and creative problem-solving. During one quiet moment, Alex explored the crew quarters, finding small personal logs left by the humans who originally designed the ship. Holographic images of smiling faces, detailed technical notes, and personal messages flickered to life. "These people dreamed," Alex murmured. "They built this ship to explore, to survive, to reach beyond the stars. And now, she's alive again because someone refused to give up." The aliens watched him silently. Tyrell finally said, "Humans, perhaps your greatest strength is not your technology. It is your spirit." Alex nodded. "Spirit, determination, ingenuity, that's what makes humans special. You can have the best tech, the best protocols, but without creativity and courage, it's just parts and circuits. Humans, we make them work together. We make the impossible happen." After several cycles of testing, Alex prepared for the first full-scale voyage. The AI's voice was steady, confident, and fully operational. "Human, flight readiness confirmed. Systems optimal. Destination at your command." Alex set coordinates for a nearby uncharted star system. He floated to the bridge, hands on the controls. "Ready." The aliens watched silently. "We are ready," Kale said softly. "But this is unprecedented. No human vessel has ever done this after decades of neglect." Alex grinned. "Then watch closely. Humans never give up." The engines flared. The ghost vessel shot forward, leaving orbit behind. Stars stretched into long lines as the ship accelerated smoothly. Every system worked in harmony. The AI monitored each adjustment, responding instantly to Alex's input. The ship moved not just as a machine, but as a living entity, guided by human intuition. During the voyage, Alex discovered a minor anomaly in the navigation array. Without hesitation, he improvised a solution, rerouting power and recalibrating sensors using makeshift tools and instinct. The ship responded immediately, stabilizing perfectly. Kale whispered to Tyrell, "No protocol, no calculation, just human instinct. And it works." Tyrell nodded slowly. "It is remarkable beyond logic." Alex looked around the bridge, feeling a deep sense of pride. The ship, once a ghost, now hummed with life. The AI's voice was steady, clear, and almost warm. "Human, I am functional. You have revived me." "Your ingenuity remarkable." Alex smiled, his hands resting on the console. "We make a good team, don't we?" The aliens watched, silent and amazed. They had doubted humans. They had doubted the ship. And yet here they were, witnessing the revival of a vessel once thought lost to time, guided by human creativity, persistence, and courage. For Alex, it was not just about fixing a ship. It was about proving that no matter how impossible a task seemed, humans could adapt, create, and persist. They could breathe life into what was lost. They could turn failure into success. And they could inspire others to see beyond limitations. As the ghost vessel glided through uncharted space, Alex reflected on the journey. The ship was no longer a relic. It was a symbol, a testament to human ingenuity, a living proof that determination and creativity could overcome even the most impossible odds. Kale finally spoke, his voice quiet with respect. "Humans, you do not simply survive. You adapt, you create, and you inspire. You have taken what was dead and made it alive. That is extraordinary." Alex chuckled softly. "Thanks, but it's not just me. It's every human who ever refused to give up. We leave a mark and sometimes we wake ghosts." The ghost vessel hummed in agreement, engines glowing, systems operating perfectly. The AI's voice filled the corridors one last time for this moment. "Human, I am alive. I remember. I will explore again, thanks to you." Alex smiled, floating to the observation deck. Outside, stars stretched endlessly, a reminder that adventure awaited. The ghost vessel was no longer a ghost. It was alive, ready to explore the galaxy once more, guided by human ingenuity and spirit. The aliens looked on in awe. They had learned something fundamental about humans. They did not just survive or follow rules. Humans imagined, adapted, persisted, and achieved the impossible. And the ghost vessel would be proof of that for generations to come. As the ship accelerated toward the unknown, Alex whispered softly to himself, "One ship revived, but the universe has many more challenges. Let's see what else we can do." The stars beckoned, the ship glided forward, and the legend of the human mechanic who refused to give up spread silently across the void. Humans had once again proven themselves, creative, determined, and unstoppable. And the ghost vessel, alive and whole, would carry that proof into the galaxy.